In ancient Japan, a warrior emerged. The ninja. Stoic and stealthy, this soldier lives his life undetectable and in the shadows. But who said a ninja had to be human? In the animal kingdom, there is also a special class of warriors. Sly, daring, and deadly. A perfect undercover soldier. From creeping crocs to lightning-fast leopards, leopard seals to cannibalistic squids. These animals may not be dressed in black, but they are true lethal weapons. This is world's deadliest animal ninja warriors. A ninja animal relies on an extraordinary set of skills to fight his enemies. Stealth, agility, patience, combat skills, and of course, speed. Equipped with an icy stare and nerves of steel, the Peregrine Falcon is a predator with legendary power. His name means wanderer, and it fits. This falcon travels long distances, flying over 15,000 miles per year looking for his next kill. An avid hunter, the Peregrine Falcon mostly targets other birds. It might seem like a lonely life, but this roving bird of prey is probably kept company by the fact that when he hunts, he's so damn good. His method is deadly precise, with eyesight 8 times better than humans. He can pinpoint prey almost 1,000 feet away in flight. He emits a menacing taunt. You might think that would spoil the surprise. But surprise isn't what this ninja warrior is about. Not when you have speed. Faster than any bird on Earth. He dives at 200 miles per hour, taking aim at his prey. The force of the body slam is enough to kill. Then he uses his dagger-like talons to bring the pigeon to the ground. But if the bird is still alive, one sharp peck can sever the spine and finish the job. If we're talking about ninja speed, no surprise, cheetah is top on the list. After all, he's the fastest animal on land, capable of accelerating from 0 to 60 in just 3 seconds. But it's not that simple. In fact, if the only thing this cat had going for it was raw speed, it might never catch a thing. Which is why, when it's time to hunt on the African plains, the cheetah relies on some other, slower evolutionary advantages. It starts with his eyesight. With long black marks that run from the inside edge of his eyes to his mouth, these tear lines mimic a rifle sight and help reflect the sun's glare. An estimated 2,000 spots, made of longer, finer hairs than the rest of the coat, break up the cheetah's outline, so when he starts to move, he can blend into the grass. And this is where the speed kicks in. But it's more than just quick legs. A super flexible spine allows for a massive 21-foot-long stride. He can change direction as fast as the fleeing prey by using his tail like a rudder. It normally takes the cheetah less than a minute to catch its prey. For this wildebeest, the end comes even quicker. Cheetahs can eat up to 30 pounds at a time, storing fat so it doesn't have to hunt again for days. And it stays hydrated by drinking its prey's blood. It's all part of the cheetah's superior, fast, furious, and lethal design. Cheetah, peregrine falcon. These are some of the fastest moving animals on Earth. But there are other animals whose ninja speed is seen in a different way. Take the black mamba. Sneaky, slithering, and reaching up to 14 feet. The mamba is quick, able to travel past 12 miles per hour, making him the fastest venomous snake in Africa. But the mamba mostly uses that speed to protect itself from a threat. To perform his lethal kills, he relies on a completely different type of speed. It starts with his quick-moving tongue, a rapid little appendage which he flicks to detect the scent of prey. When he's in range, he stops and waits for the rat with poor vision to mistakenly come to him. And that's when another speedy skill enters the equation. His strike. Which happens at lightning speed. But this warrior's real lethal power comes from something his victims can't even see. His swift-acting venom. This neurotoxin rapidly paralyzes and kills. Humans can die in 20 minutes. Sweet baby chicks, much, much faster. Inside this abandoned well lives a colony of nighttime assassins. Known as the myotis, or mouse-eared bat, these fanged creatures have just woken up from their daytime sleep. And when they wake up, it's time to eat. Each bat is a solo predator, striking out on his own. Underneath the tough but flexible wing skin is a layer of muscle, allowing the bat to rocket through the air, swiftly swoop, dive, and change directions as he hunts. And he does this fast. But what makes this speedy show even more amazing is that he isn't using his eyes to see. Contrary to popular belief, the bat is not blind, but he doesn't use his sight at night. Instead, he sends out high-pitched squeaks that bounce back at him, creating a sonic map of his surroundings. Known as echolocation, this helps him avoid obstacles, locate prey, and dive to grab it when moving over 18 miles per hour. When he's done, sated, he returns to his cave, the evidence of his kill streaming behind him. Lightning speed isn't the only way an animal ninja warrior nabs his prey. For some, the hunt is slower, but the results are awesome. Ninja animals are black belts in the methods of covert craftiness. To kill, they must penetrate enemy lines, lurk in the shadows, and master the art of surprise. This is a crocodile, and it's his big day. He only eats about once a week, so he's got to make his hunt count. He heads out into the brackish waters with just one tactic in his toolkit. Whether a wildebeest, a boar, or even a barely there bird, this predator has mastered the skill of stealth. In fact, when hunting, almost every action this crocodile makes is to hide and disguise its deadly intentions. With little more than its eyes and nose visible, he lurks to avoid detection. He can sense prey from a distance by detecting the slightest movement in the water. On top of all that, he can hold his breath for more than an hour, which means the croc can attack silently from below. So it's no surprise this wallaby hasn't noticed the salty's arrival. With just one snap of its jaws, he secures his prey. Stealth is not just efficient, but biologically vital. While a croc can swim at 20 miles per hour, it can only sustain that speed for short distances. Which means every time a croc launches out of the water, he has just one shot to grab his prey before his dinner escapes. So the stealth attack is his best chance of success. But grabbing large prey is only half the battle. The croc performs a death roll, turning and twisting in the water, drowning its prey, and tearing them into bite-sized pieces. All he has to do now is swallow. Deep in the tropical rainforests of Asia lives a majestic assortment of orchids. They seem to be nothing but harmless blossoms. But look closer. This beauty is hiding a deadly, stealthy killer. This is the orchid mantis. While this praying mantis can blend with green leaves to ambush prey, the the orchid mantis has taken it up a notch. Known as aggressive mimicry, it's the only insect known to disguise itself as a flower, which actually lures prey. And the way it works is pure ninja stealth. The mantis imitates the texture and color of the orchid's petals, which attracts insects who think this is a harmless flower to pollinate. To keep up the charade and avoid detection, it remains as still as possible, rotating only its head to get a better look at prey. While the orchid mantis has a large appetite and eats an array of insects, it is a selective hunter. So patience is a key part of the orchid's stealthy strategy. It's not going to blow its cover for this sapsucker. Those sticky threads would be unpleasant to eat. But this moth is ripe for the picking. It's using its front legs, which are covered in dagger-like spines, to snare the moth and stake it down. The ninja disguise is so successful, scientists believe the orchid mantis is better at attracting pollinator insects than actual orchids. Who would have thought such a beauty could be so beastly? On the African plains, it's already hard enough to avoid getting killed by the big cats. They're fast, hungry, and aggressive. But this guy makes things even worse. He hunts from above. Most leopards use the ninja method of tanuki gakuri, the practice of climbing a tree and camouflaging oneself within the foliage. In fact, for the leopard, the tree is his castle. It's where he sleeps. It's where he gets his exercise. And it's where he sits silently scoping for prey. Using his curved ears to capture 5 times more sound waves than a human, they alert him to even the smallest sounds. And this leopard hears something. An impala. Quiet and calculating, his soft paws muffle his movements. And really, it's not quite fair, because this guy has no idea he's supposed to look up. The kill comes with a strong bite to the neck. To protect his meal, the leopard drags the impala back to his tree perch before devouring it. Today, Tanuki Gakuri has been successful. We're not saying stealth isn't important when you're an animal ninja. But there are some warriors that go a different, death-defying route. Agility is a key element to a ninja's success. It takes years of training to develop their nimble and aggressive moves. But these animals are born with it. Sometimes, agile warriors come in small, furry, weird packages. This tree dweller, called a tarsier, may look like the illegitimate love child of an owl and an Ewok. But don't let his looks deceive you. His gravity-defying aerial skills make him one of the most successful hunters in the animal world. Tarsiers are primates and related to humans. The resemblance is best seen in the animal's hands. But they have an appetite their cousins can't match. They are the only entirely carnivorous primate in the world, which means to survive, a tarsier better be a good hunter. And that's where his agility comes in very handily. The tarsier's legs make up about a quarter of the weight of their entire body. And the tarsal heel bone on their feet is so long, it gives the animal its name. Add in the long, tapered hands for gripping, and you have a predator capable of soaring over 16 feet from branch to branch. Hunting mainly at night, the tarsier uses mobile ears and extra-large eyes to spot prey. Once targeted, he waits for the right moment to make his deadly leap. He's not quite Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, but he gets the job done. It's rare for a ninja to be on the defensive. But when they are, some of his most amazing acrobatic moves are unleashed. The red colobus monkey of Eastern Africa is an amazingly agile defensive daredevil. Not that you would guess that from their looks. First, there's the toupee-like red hair that gives them their name. Doesn't exactly say killer. Then there's the fact that they are not hunters. They spend their days playing and grooming, eating mostly leaves, laying around for about 7 of the 10 hours that they are awake each day. But don't be fooled. When they need to, the red colobus monkeys use their agility in the most dynamic and amazing ways. Just ask Gombe chimps. Colobus monkeys are the chimps' favorite meal, and they know it. High in the trees, the monkeys place sentries to watch for the chimps. And when danger is spotted, they call out to warn the group. And that's when their inner ninja emerges. 5 times lighter than the chimps, the colobus monkeys are able to easily escape by climbing higher onto smaller branches that are too light to support the chimps. But if the move up doesn't work, they aren't afraid to simply let it fly. Like a true martial artist, these monkeys defy gravity to escape the chimp attack. So they can live to fly another day. When it comes to a deadly predator, agility can take many frightening forms. Rapid moves, shape-shifting, sneak attacks, And in the deepest ocean, there's an animal who can accomplish all of the above, and a lot more. Meet the Humboldt squid, or as he's also known, the Red Devil. The name comes from their red color and their notoriously bad attitude. When threatened, he will lash out with swift and nimble ferocity, all tentacles and fury. And his agile aggression is excellent when hunting. At 100 pounds, this squid can eat pretty much all he wants. And he's highly skilled at grabbing what he needs. Using his tentacles like a whip, he sucks the meal into his razor-sharp beak. But it seems to save the worst of it for its own kind. Yes, these guys are cannibals. And it appears the bigger the squid, the more they like to attack and eat their own kind. Today, the squid is thwarted by a massive cannon shot of ink, which will probably just leave this hungry red devil ready to attack again. Power, precision, and pure adrenaline-packed mayhem. Sometimes an animal ninja warrior simply likes to make a splash. In the world of the ninja, patience is more than a virtue. It's the ultimate means to a kill and survival. These animals are living proof. When you imagine a watery ninja animal, you picture rapid-fire moves and amazing feats of acrobatic ability. Not this. Dotted with warts and covered in a layer of slime, this passive predator is a stonefish. The stonefish uses an attack tactic called Azura Kakuri. Translation, remaining motionless in order to appear like a rock. In other words, patience. It has two techniques to make it unnoticeable to prey: blending or burrowing. And then it waits. Just as quickly as it grabs a bite, the fish is back to its stone-like state, leaving no trace of its deadly deed, proving that for the stonefish, patience is the deadliest weapon of all. It's an average day in Antarctica for these penguins. Flapping, marching, and resting in the sub-zero temperature. But what these penguins don't know is they are being stalked. Underneath the ice, a patient predator waits for the penguins to make the wrong move. A lean, mean killing machine, this 840-pound leopard seal is an icy water bully. Second only to the killer whale among top Antarctic predators, leopard seals love to prey on penguins. But they have a problem. Leopard seals are excellent swimmers, but not as graceful on land, and the penguins like to stick to the ice. So the seal hangs back, keeping an eye out for his main course and waiting for the right moment. When a few brave souls go for a dip, he makes his move. He rockets forward at speeds of 24 miles per hour, barreling through the water, causing a sea of chaos, and then takes advantage of the bedlam. A massive 840 pounds. There's no way one penguin is going to be enough for this seal. So he heads back out to lurk and wait. Inside this cave in Puerto Rico live thousands of bats. Agile predators in their own right. Tonight, they are the hunted. Because when the sun sets, a slithering bat assassin emerges, the Puerto Rican boa. Welcome to the Cueva de los Culebrones, the cave of the long snake. Measuring 7 feet, the boas aren't venomous or particularly fast, but they are persistent. Aware that the bats need to hunt, the snakes set their trap, slithering up to the mouth of the cave and then uncoiling. Just 25% of the snake's body stays on the rock as they hunt by sense of touch. Which means, until a bat brushes up against them, these snakes are just hanging around. Eventually, an unfortunate bat will get too close to the snake's mouth. Using his strong muscles, the boa wraps his body around the bat twice and squeezes to kill. Then in true snake fashion, he eats his prey whole. Rarely has just hanging around looked so deadly. While patience works for some, when it comes to being a deadly ninja, it's hard to beat raw power. In the life and death struggles of animal ninjas, sometimes it comes down to the basics of lethal combat. And these warriors have a full set of skills at their disposal. In the vast landscapes of Australia lives a particular animal warrior, the kangaroo. But how does a big-eared, grass-eating, paunch-bellied animal qualify as a ninja? At 7 feet tall, kangaroos might be the largest martial artists in the world. And their secret weapon? A killer two-legged kick. Not that he could kick with one leg, even if he wanted to. A kangaroo's hind legs cannot move independently from one another. If one leg moves, the other goes with it, which is why they hop. Each hop can reach 25 feet, which allows them to get up to speeds of 35 miles per hour. But those legs can also pack a powerful punch when two male kangaroos get into it. And this happens a lot, because kangaroos are extremely territorial when it comes to the ladies. These male eastern greys are young, but one already thinks another is getting too close to his mate. Challenge accepted. Using their short arms to jab and punch, they try and rip each other's flesh with powerful, sharp claws. Soon it's time to unleash that lethal weapon. The force can kill the opponent. Today, another kangaroo breaks it up before things get carried away. But this fight probably isn't over. Breeding occurs all year, almost guaranteeing another martial arts battle. Not all ninja combat is hand-to-hand. Sometimes, a great martial arts fight is won with lethal weaponry. This animal warrior may not have nunchucks, but she's armed and dangerous. The ogre-faced spider is named appropriately. She comes from the family Deinopidae, which in Greek means terrible appearance. And with her ratty fur, fangs, and two big bulging eyes, she fits the bill for a child's nightmare monster. Because of her large eyes, the spider is sensitive to light. So she spends the day resting. But when the sun sets, this nocturnal ninja comes to life. Every night, the spider spins a new web of strong silk. Unlike most spiders, who set their net and wait for their prey, she uses her web to actively hunt. A black-headed sugar ant. With great balance and nimbleness, she hangs by several threads attached to surrounding foliage and prepares to make her quick and precise move. Her fangs release a toxic venom and paralyzes the ant. And when she finishes, she keeps on spinning, prepping her next deadly web until the sun rises. What happens when speed, stealth, agility, patience, and brute strength intersect in one amazing specimen? Something we like to call the ultimate ninja animal. And there's more than one. There are some animals out there, so stealthy, so speedy, so agile, and so patient, they deserve the title of Ultimate Ninja. Jaws isn't a ninja movie, but it should be. Its star, the great white shark, is the ocean's ultimate warrior. Justifiably, it's the shark's mouth that gets most of the attention. 300 serrated teeth arranged in 7 deadly rows work together as a saw to rip prey apart. He has an estimated bite force of 4,000 pounds per square inch. That's more than a hyena, lion, and tiger bite combined. But a great white shark is more than a mouth. It possesses the full ninja arsenal. It hunts by stealth, moving quietly through the sea. Their white underbellies help them blend in from below. To find their prey, they're equipped with incredible skills. With a superhero sense of smell, the shark can sniff out a single drop of blood floating in 10 billion drops of water. Their other senses are also unbelievably powerful. Ear openings above their eyes that hear the tiniest of ripples. Eyes designed to see in daylight or night. And an amazing sixth sense, which allows the shark to detect an electric field. Today, all of these powers aid this shark in finding the perfect prey, a seal. Their torpedo-like shape and powerful tails help them swim at speeds up to 35 miles per hour. When the shark is ready to unleash its jaws, it leaps to snare the seal in midair. For this predator, being the ultimate ninja master of the ocean makes him a warrior you don't ever want to swim across. Our final ultimate ninja warrior isn't about lurking. When he gets down to his lethal work, he likes to put on a show. Olive baboons are highly adaptable. They live in wide-ranging environments, from forests to desert, and many places in between. Brave and brazen, he's not afraid to chase off this cheetah who is more than twice his size. They're able to succeed in such varied habitats because they can turn almost anything into a meal. And when they decide to move in for the kill, watch out. In Kenya, this olive baboon stealthily hides in the trees, patiently watching a majestic sight. Hundreds of flamingos resting at a watering hole. Some animals might join the birds and skim the water for the nutrient-rich compost that the flamingos leave. But that's not what this baboon wants. He's after something bigger. He explodes, running up to 30 miles per hour to reach the water. As the birds panic, they try to take flight, but they are no match for the baboon's amazingly agile moves. A leap and success. Now that the show's over, this brave and nimble ninja sits down for a feast. From flying monkeys to patient seals, speedy snakes to stealthy cats, these daring, dexterous animal warriors might just be nature's most skilled ninjas. And their victims never saw it coming. Welcome to a world of feuding families, almighty monarchs, and clans hungry for blood. A place where the pursuit of power is a deadly game for survival among animal kings and queens, knights and warriors. Like clashing kings of old, animals are always on the verge of epic warfare. Plagued by bloodlust, intrigue, backstabbing, and betrayal. But only one can wear the crown. This is World's Deadliest Game of Thrones. Throughout time, land has proven to be the catalyst of some of the greatest battles in history. In the animal kingdom, that couldn't be more true. Whether it's a treetop, a nest, or a desert, these animals are looking to expand and protect their territory, or die trying. Deep in the northern forests lives the goshawk. This is not a bird to mess with. With a wingspan of 4 feet, fierce red eyes, and massive talons, he's a natural-born predator. He'll eat birds and rodents, and he'll take out prey half his body weight. And he's also a territorial badass. Pairs of goshawks rule kingdoms over a half a mile wide, anchored by their most important possession, their wooden throne, which they aggressively protect. This goshawk seems to have spotted something. The hare realizes he's under attack and takes off. Armed with sharp binocular vision, the goshawk is able to quickly adapt to his obstacles, seemingly shape-shifting through the forest. But with a literal bird's-eye view, he doesn't let the hare out of his sight. When it comes to protecting his throne, nothing gets past this goshawk. In any bid for power, territory is an important part of securing supremacy. In equatorial Africa, eastern chimpanzees know that all too well. They are willing to wage epic battles over a prime piece of land, as vicious as any human turf war. Chimpanzees spend much of their time mating, cleaning, and playing together. It's all rather tame, until it's time to hunt. They are primarily vegetarians, munching on forest fruits and plants. Which means a hunting trip isn't quite what you would expect. Every 2 weeks, the eastern chimps gather into groups of 20 or more males and set out. But they aren't looking for prey. They're looking for territory with more food. They move through their own terrain, eventually coming across another chimp tribe's turf. An eerie silence falls over the forest. Munching on fruit up above is a group of chimps, completely unaware of the impending battle below. It's the perfect time to strike. The fighting is chaotic, and the invaders focus in on other males. An unlucky infant is caught and killed. Defeated, the invaded chimp tribe runs away. For our chimps, it's victory for now. But a new battle for land is always on the horizon. The meerkat kingdom stretches thousands of miles from coast to coast in southern Africa and is divided into individual square miles of sand scrub ruled by protective meerkat mobs. It might not seem like much, but for them, it's their entire world. Living in mobs of up to 50, meerkats create entire villages underground, extensive tunnels and room systems that protect them from predators in the hot African sun. Digging the home's a group affair. And when completed, there can be over 70 entrances. Because the territories of different mobs often overlap, disputes can break out at any moment. So for protection, the meerkats send out sentries, like this one, watching for invaders. Dark patches around his eyes help to reduce the glaring desert sun, and his long horizontal pupils give him a wide range of vision. In the distance, he spots another mob moving close. Many times an opposing clan will approach and turn away, but not today. To intimidate the invaders, the meerkats stand as tall as possible on all four legs, hair and tail erect. The two mobs eye each other warily, perform a war dance, and then attack. Wrestling one another to the ground and using their vicious canine teeth, the battles are brief, but brutal. Today, this meerkat mob is safe, but the guard stays ever vigilant. Who knows what tomorrow will bring? Alone, these ants don't look like much. Small, pesky, perhaps an easy target. But when you put hundreds of thousands of them together, they are a force to be reckoned with. These are African driver ants. Traveling in groups up to 22 million strong, they invade and overwhelm territory. And with no allegiance to any particular land, they march from place to place, pillaging until resources are diminished. For anything that remains in its path, it's certain death. They are blind, so they can't see what's ahead of them. Instead, these ants use antennae to detect the movement of prey. Armed with a tough exoskeleton and machete-like jaws, they infest areas and swarm victims, butchering insects piece by piece. Up to 100,000 in a single day, but always marching on to conquer more. Even this sea creature and his home aren't safe from this land-dwelling mass. Storming the crab and his domain, they eat him from the inside out. For this territorial army of millions, nothing is ever enough. While this group of animals goes head-to-head for their territories, our next mighty monarchs will fight to the death to stay on top. Potent and prideful, the animal kingdom is ruled by many power-hungry monarchs. But to survive and stay on their throne, these predators must kill or else be killed themselves. large and in charge. That's the trademark of this king. Our solitary emperor holds the crown for the world's largest land carnivore. His kingdom is the vast Arctic North, a remote and harsh region where every day is an epic struggle for existence. To survive, the polar bear must be skilled in both smarts and strategy. He is equipped with perhaps nature's most effective fur coat, with an inner layer that retains heat and an outer layer that repels water and ice. It also allows this top predator to travel thousands of miles, all while reflecting light and blending into its surroundings. But our king has his issues. His world is made of ice, so it is constantly shifting or melting. And that's where his paws come into play. They are broad so he can keep his balance, covered in fur and equipped with claws to grip the ice. And when the ice ends, the paws are partially webbed so they can double as oars while he swims, over 60 miles at a time. But to do so, he must consume over 4 pounds of fat daily. A blubbery seal can provide a polar bear with enough energy for 8 days. Thinking he's safe, this seal pops his head up for some air. Little does he know, a polar bear is taking inventory. The end result? A dead seal and a bloody but sated king. With his grisly howl and his formidable fangs, this next animal may be the most feared monarch in the natural world. Powerful, hungry, and lethal, this is the gray wolf. These beautiful, brutal bullies live in packs of 6 to 10 that are ruled by a king and a queen. They establish territory and determine the pack's movement, including who can eat and what to hunt. The alpha dogs lead a violent but efficient operation, moving up to 12 miles of land per day. And using their keen sense of smell, they sniff out other animals over a mile away. Cooperation among the ranks allow the wolves to take on much larger prey, like these stampeding 800-pound elk. The queen takes command and shows no fear, leading the chase against the herd. The sleeker, smaller wolves are able to exhaust one of the herd's weaker members, sinking their slightly curved, sharpened teeth into the elk. Eating up to 20 pounds each in one sitting, the pack fills up before it's time to set out on their next hunt, following their king and queen to victory. Tiptoeing across the ocean bottom is a heavily armored knight. A loner, he tends to keep to himself, scavenging ocean waters. But on occasion, he joins thousands of other spider crabs off the coast of Australia to mate and to molt. But nearby, a king is lurking. Behold, the smooth stingray. Outfitted with a frightening serrated spine, or barb, he can produce venom and kill a human with just one slice. Using his sand-colored coat to camouflage, he glides along the sea floor to avoid its few predators. But hiding isn't what the stingray is about. This is an elite hunter, armed with electrical sensors around his mouth to find prey. Sensing the crabs beneath him, he hovers over them. They attempt to make an escape, but not all of them will survive. This spider crab army is no match for a smooth stingray. For these monarchs, it's a battle for the throne. But every king needs his queen. And these guys are ready to fight viciously for their true love. Since the beginning of time, wars have been fought over women. Just ask Helen of Troy. But these animals take the idea of bloodlust to a whole new level. The king of the jungle actually lives elsewhere, on the flat African savanna. And like any king, he's not afraid to flaunt it, often taking it easy and sleeping for up to 20 hours a day. But one thing will wake this beast up, and that's another lion honing in on his lioness. Lions live in prides of 1 to 3 male superiors, a dozen lionesses, and their young. But only one of the males gets mating rights. And all the females are his queens. They share the breeding responsibilities. They do most of the hunting. And above all, they are selfless, taking down all the prey for their sleepy sultan. So it's no surprise he wants these females all to himself. And it's no wonder this intruder, who is flying solo, wants them too. Sensing an attack, the king prepares to protect his throne. With no clear winner, the fight continues. The intruder makes his move. A well-placed punch leaves the king defeated. In the ultimate act as brutal conqueror, the new king will kill off all the existing cubs. This will maximize his reproductive success and ensure his offspring is the next generation of royalty. In the battle to win a female's heart, it's not always about who's the strongest, but about who really sticks their neck out. The kingdom of the giraffe appears to be a quiet one. Standing up to 19 feet, they're the tallest mammals on Earth. And without making much of a sound, they roam the African savanna munching on trees. Giraffes seem calm, secure, and able to avoid much of the animal warfare below them. But in the animal world, looks can be deceiving. Roaming the African savanna, these tall, spotted, and handsome bulls strut their step, lick their lips, and search near and far for females. Inevitably, two males are going to set eyes on the same conquest. But therein lies the problem. They can't both have her. Unlike other animals, giraffes won't charge one another or attack with teeth bared. Instead, they fight with their 600-pound necks and heads. Without warning, one of the giraffes lands a surprise neck jab. His rival shows no mercy, slamming him repeatedly with jabs that can be heard over a half-mile away. The fight is brief, but certain. And our victor giraffe takes what he's rightfully won. This epic scene of grunting, grabbing, and bashing blubber is a special event in the sea lion calendar. Welcome to a royal wedding, sea lion style. A sea lion spends a lot of time in the water, swimming up to 25 miles per hour to track down various fish, squid, and octopus. But once a year, these blubbery beasts come ashore to mate. Using roaring, hissing, and biting, the males mark their territory on remote islands called rookeries. Once they have their spot, it's time for the brides to arrive. The bulls often become aggressive, mating with as many females as they can. Crushing and bloodying rivals, a sea lion will fight for his rookery and his many ladies. When this one tries to hone in on another's harem, it's a battle of strength and blubber. Sparing him his life, the stronger sea lion shoves his foe out to sea. While these lustful brutes prefer to fight alone, our next group of animals goes big. Really, really big. For these guys, it takes a killer army. To fight a war, you need an army. Behold the military might of the animal kingdom. Deep in the African grasslands, each dressed in their own unique fur coat of arms, this fierce command of canines embarks across the savannah. These are African wild dogs. And while they may appear fuzzy, furry, and friendly, they are anything but. They are predators whose bite far exceeds their bark. Their strength lies in the fact that they stick together, moving for the good of all. This elite canine unit follows one basic creed: leave no dog behind. They travel in packs of up to 40. And using high-pitched chirps and body posture to communicate, the dogs maintain a tight formation while hunting and marching. In the morning or evening hours, the dogs set up a base camp. Today, a lead dog and his pack set off to find their next meal. They come across a group of lechwe. At 200 pounds of fur and horns, a lechwe towers over the 60-pound dog. But the mutts stand their ground. As the chase comes to a head, the dogs make their final move. Then, dig in. When the group is satisfied, they return to their base to feed the young, the wounded, and the sick, regurgitating food from the hunt. Who said chivalry was dead? Some armies operate as a swift, tactical unit, honing the art of surprise. Not the wildebeest. Like a mass of invading medieval warriors, the wildebeest of East Africa march 1,800 miles across the vast Serengeti plains. Their mission? To reach the Masai Mara, where greener pastures of vegetation and food await them. For the most part, it's a peaceful march. Wildebeest are, after all, herbivores. But when it comes to reaching their final destination, a stampeding pack of more than 1 million has no time to worry about who or what ends up beneath their hooves. As this legion continues on its epic journey, crossing plains and rivers, its number swells. Inevitably, the deafening sound of millions of pounding hooves attracts unwanted attention. The weariest, the old, or the very young are targeted. But nothing and no one will get in their way. When they reach the Mara River, it's a group effort to get across. A wildebeest crossing alone is vulnerable. But as a stampeding force, they have an upper hand. Or hoof. The wildebeest make it safely to their destination, proving once again that in an army, it's all about strength in numbers. While this group is highly organized and highly loyal, saving their attacks for others, the same cannot be said of our next Game of Thrones animals, where backstabbing and sibling rivalries rule the day. Often the biggest threat to a kingdom doesn't come from outside invaders, but from within. Backstabbing, betrayal, sibling rivalry. These killers keep it in the family. In the quest to become king, nowhere does bloody infighting start as early as it does in the realm of the sand tiger shark. This shark mother will do anything to secure her favored child's future. Her plan is hatched at courtship. She mates with as many males as she can, eventually producing about a dozen embryos. And that's where things start to go downhill. With 2 uteri, a queen shark can only bear 2 children at a time. So in utero, it's a war for dominance. Each unborn shark baby has one goal: its sole survival. They will turn on each other and methodically start to cannibalize their siblings and gain strength. When all are devoured, the sibling slayer moves on to its mother's unfertilized eggs and eats those, a phenomenon called oophagy. For the baby shark, it's kill or be killed. And once they are born, they are immediately abandoned. Luckily for them, they've already gone through survival training and are clearly able to fend for themselves. In the deepest forests lives a regal and dignified matriarch, the golden eagle. Moving at speeds of up to 150 miles per hour, she is a voracious predator. And using her sharp talons, she takes out rabbits, prairie dogs, even deer. But while this queen is off killing in the wilderness, a more vicious battle takes place back at the castle. Because in the nest, when mom is away, the kids are prey. The golden eagle often only lays 2 eggs at a time. And as it turns out, this nest just isn't big enough for 2. Many times, one egg hatches several days before the other, and thus receives all the attention of mommy dearest. Unable to fly for up to 13 weeks, the siblings could take this time to get to know one another. But that's just not how the golden eagle rolls. And when a younger sibling is born, the firstborn sees a threat, someone who takes up too much food and space, someone who has to go. The older chick sets upon the other, backing the younger eaglet to the edge of the nest. With no room or skill to fly, the only place for this young eaglet to go is down. Now an only child, the firstborn grows up to be the sole heir, inheriting the throne. And becoming the predator mother always wanted. Hyenas already have a pretty bad rap. Between the snarling, the scavenging, and the blood-curdling laugh, these animals don't need another characteristic to make them scary. But we found one: deadly sibling rivalry. These 190-pound predators live in a strict hierarchy. Like the military, every hyena has a rank. The higher your rank, the more you get to eat. Females take the top spots and, like a royal family, pass their status on to their children. So whatever your mother's rank is your rank. But there's one problem. A mother hyena can't always provide for all her young. And the least aggressive cub will least likely survive. Which means the struggle between siblings for dominance starts almost immediately after birth. Weighing less than 3 pounds, the hyena pups are born with open eyes and sharp teeth, which they promptly turn on each other. Eventually, 2 sister pups figure out the best way to win is to eliminate the third. They attack. But they don't kill her. Instead, they limit her access to their mother's milk, eventually starving her to death. As the surviving sisters grow, they will continue to use their rank to steal food and bully others, serving as a reminder of who really is at the top. While all these animals are individually frightening as they fight for power, there are times when they all collide, creating ultimate scenes of carnage and epic battles. On their own, these stories of savage sibling rivalries, terrifying territorial clashes, and awesome armies are brutal and bloody enough. But sometimes all of the worlds come together at once. These are the Game of Thrones epic battles. In the stormy ocean waters, scuffles between 2 adversaries for territories, resources, and power are common. But once a year, a grander underwater battle royale takes place. Off the shores of South Africa, between the months of May and July, millions of sardines migrate from the shores of Cape Town to Durban, in shoals that stretch up to 9 miles long, 2 miles wide, and nearly 131 feet deep. This scene, known as the sardine run, is a little understood phenomenon and absolutely hypnotic. Using a pressure sense that runs along their bodies, the sardines stick together in hopes of minimizing their chances of becoming lunch. But it's no use. The ultimate battle of Blackwater has begun. Superpods of common dolphin arrive and corral the sardines into giant balls. Sharks breach the sardines from the sides. A troop of seals sneak attacks. And with binocular vision, eyes positioned forward, a command of Cape Gannets, yes, birds, spot the sardine run just below the surface. As a result, the Cape Gannets call an airstrike, rocketing into the water at 60 miles per hour. It is a brutal and endless feeding frenzy. But it's not the dolphins, the sharks, the seals, nor the gannets that will make the biggest splash in this sardine run. Enter from 1,000 feet below, a brutal monarch, the 90,000-pound bride's whale. while the other contenders pick one or two fish off at a time. This languid king merely has to open his mouth just once or twice for a full-on sardine feast. While this underwater battle is a spectacle, the harshest and most brutal wars are waged in the animal kingdom, when water runneth dry. Just ask these guys. Normally, long rains strike Kenya between March and June. But with few storms, the wet season has become more and more dry. With water running low, tensions are high. While a full-blown war is rare among the animal kingdom, a scarcity of resources changes the equation. And now, each of these animals will have to use every last ounce of their strength and battle for survival. The struggle draws the animals to the diminishing Mara River. Normally one of the greatest water sources in Kenya. The thirst for water unleashes something greater. A thirst for blood. Hyenas defend what's rightfully theirs. In a rare attack, lions take on a giraffe for a shot at a meal. And brothers become enemies. But there is one animal who will come out on top in this dire situation. Our lioness lives up to her title, Queen of the African Savannah. From deadly sibling rivalries to all-powerful kings, in the animal free-for-all that is the Game of Thrones, only one thing is clear: win or die. In a world where everything is not always what it seems, there are alien-like animals among us. This is a world where peaceful creatures mutate into lethal predators. These animals are more than meets the eye. They are highly dangerous, well-oiled, spine-chilling, killing machines. This is world's deadliest Transformers. When it comes to the battle for survival, size does matter. Some animals were born big. Others activate super morphing powers to change dimension, defying their predators and overwhelming their prey. For these sea lions off the coast of Mexico, this simple, peaceful scene is not what it seems. armed with torpedo-like bodies and fearsome canine teeth. These are elite hunters. But today, the target is small and seemingly simple. A little fish called a porcupine fish. For him, a gruesome doom awaits. Not so fast. This fish is about to show you just how he got his name. He quickly ingests water and inflates into a spiky ball several times his normal size. Now, he's almost impossible to catch, and also lethal. Deep inside his organs, there's a poison called tetrodotoxin, 1,200 times more deadly than cyanide. For the sea lions, this easy meal has turned into a dangerous game they don't want to play. And the porcupine fish, victorious, deflates. Some transformers may blow a fuse when it comes time to fight. This guy simply blows up. In this harsh world, at less than an inch long, this lone ant is seemingly defenseless. But she is not alone. She's a fire ant, and she fights with a legion, as many as 500,000 soldiers. Hailing from Brazil, this colony has made its home near a river. And this morning, the worker ants will start their day by searching for a meal. Like this dragonfly. The mob attacks, injecting their victim with deadly venom. Triumphant, they return to the colony, only to be faced with life-altering peril. As storms move in, the river begins flooding and puts their home and queen in danger. To a human, this may look like a passing shower, but to these ants, this is the storm of the century. If they don't save their queen and her precious larva, the entire colony will crumble. The ant apocalypse forces them to mobilize, for the fallen shall rise again. In mere minutes, thousands of singular ants reorganize themselves into a sophisticated and large life-saving raft. By ensnaring air bubbles trapped among their interlocking bodies, they keep the group afloat until they reach dry land. This journey can take months, with the ants maintaining their form until they hit the shore. Reaching drier grounds, the ants de-raft and refuel. Who knows when the next storm may hit? This creature sees the world differently. To him, this forest is not a realm of give and take. No compromise, no bargaining. The chameleon is like a terminator of the reptile kingdom. And woe be to any insect that gets in its way. As he hunts, he crawls and creeps, careful not to disturb any unsuspecting prey. As he continues, he changes color, adjusting to the temperature and communicating his mood. Capable of seeing up to 180 degrees in any direction, he doesn't miss a beat or a cricket. He doesn't need to be close. In fact, it's better if he's not. And then, a lethal shape-shifting transformation. The chameleon unleashes hell. His tongue shoots out, and in mere milliseconds, doubles the length of his body. Accelerating from 0 to 20 feet per second, the chameleon annihilates prey. Hasta la vista, insects. This turbocharged changeling goes beyond shapeshifting to complete metamorphosis. Say hello to a little nymph. This underwater creature is only about an inch long, but he's very, very hungry. He should be. At just a few months old, he's a growing boy. Using an extendable lower lip like a spear gun, he shoots, captures, and eats just about anything that moves. With such a voracious appetite, he quickly outgrows his own skin. Over and over again. In all, our nymph will molt up to 15 times. But at some point, he needs to leave the roost. Like a super mutant transformer, our nymph can no longer be contained underwater, causing him to climb up and out of the pond, where for the first time, he breathes air. For a final time, the nymph is reborn as a dragonfly. Opening a whole new world of hunting for this mighty morphin predator. While these changelings shapeshifted to survive, some creatures transform to thrive. They'll shut their prey up and shut them down. Emotions can cause some of the most spectacular, deadly transformations. Like Bruce Banner erupting into the Incredible Hulk. You don't want to make these guys angry. The Japanese honeybee. Perhaps the most loyal of soldiers. Every day he carries out his mission, pollinating the flora, producing honey, and feeding his queen. All done with one ultimate goal in mind, to preserve and defend his colony. Predators beware. Hell hath no fury, like a honeybee. Apparently, this Japanese giant hornet didn't get the memo. Armed with a tough exoskeleton impenetrable to the bee's stingers, he locates our honeybee's hive and plots a colony invasion. unaware of the inferno about to be unleashed. Boiling, hundreds of bees rally to defend what's theirs and ignite their transformation into an ingenious killing machine. Swarming, they trap the hornet in a deadly buzzy prison. And literally turn up the heat. By violently vibrating their flight muscles, they raise the core temperature of their death sphere to 115 degrees Fahrenheit. As hot as Death Valley in July. For the hornet, resistance is futile. The invader is roasted alive. Amazingly, most of the bees survive. With the hornet dead, the secret location of their prized colony is safe. So it goes. If you fight with fire, you'll be sure to burn. Mood morphers use aggression and ferocity to do their lethal deeds. And sometimes, being just a little bit weird works too. Case in point, the stoat weasel. At just a foot tall, he commands little respect. With his long body and his pointy face, he's been called a furry snake, and not in a good way. Which might be the reason behind his very strange hunting strategy. Spotting a target, he makes his lethal move. Transformer, ignite. Sometimes called the weasel war dance, this bizarre display is thought to mesmerize his prey. Today, this rabbit pauses just long enough to give the stoat the advantage. It latches onto the rabbit's neck and rips its jugular vein, draining the blood and life from his victim. For this mood morpher, weird is a lethal weapon. A hippo at rest is not what you'd expect it to be. In fact, for a very large portion of their lives, hippos appear to be the peaceful hippies of the animal universe. They're vegetarians. They like to play in the mud. They kindly coexist with birds. And they spend about 16 hours of every day in the water. Most of it just chilling. A watering hole on the African savanna basically looks like the hippo version of Woodstock. Unless something or someone sets him off. Males are dangerously territorial, especially when it comes to defending a watering hole. In Zambia, this male hippo is enjoying a quiet swim when an uninvited guest appears to challenge his domain. Detecting the threat, this 8,000-pound gentle giant has a mood-morphing transformation into pure fury. Able to open their jaws up to 150 degrees, a hippo has one of the most powerful bites of any land mammal. So it's safe to say, what Hippo smashes stays smashed. Bottom line, keep the peace. Don't mess with a hippo. In the fight for survival, there are no rules. Deception, hidden weapons. A transformer will do whatever it takes to get the deadly job done. Come hell or high water. To endure and reign supreme, warring factions must be ever vigilant, able to fight and outfox at any moment. They live among us, but hide in plain sight. These Transformers are masters of disguise and color. The Arctic tundra, where temperatures dive to 58 degrees below zero and winds scream across the treeless plateau. In this harsh climate, even the ultra-cunning struggle to survive. This is the world of a mighty predator called the Arctic fox. Small but skilled, his barely foot-tall frame is built for this frigid landscape. His thick fur and a jumbo tail provide the ultimate blanket. In the winter, when prey is scarce, this crafty fox takes a monumental risk. He stalks one of the planet's largest land predators, the polar bear. Not to kill, but to steal the bear's leftovers. His white fur camo helps make the fox almost invisible to this 900-pound killer. The fox keeps his distance and waits. And when the time is right, it's a strategy that works all winter long. But when summer comes and the snow melts, the fox transforms. His new gray and brown pelt perfectly blends into the tundra's rocks and cliffs. And with his new look comes a new strategy. No longer a scavenger, the fox is now a cunning hunter, as he stalks one of his favorite targets, seabirds, on rocks and land. No more leftovers for this sly fox. For our guy to survive, he has to change with the seasons. Look and listen. A killer is out there. It can't be bargained with. It can't be reasoned with. And it absolutely will not stop. No, not the shark. In the corner. This color bot is a cuttlefish. And if you're having a hard time finding it, that's by design. A master of self-protection. When this guy senses danger, he blends and disappears. In all, he's able to create millions of color variations in mere seconds, which works out great when hiding and is spectacular when hunting. Unlike his defensive maneuvers, when the cuttlefish stalks fishy prey, he wants to be noticed. Color, activate. The hypnotized fish stop in their tracks, just long enough for the cuttlefish to close in and devour. This incredible light show comes from the cuttlefish skin, which has 1 million color cells. By turning different ones on and off, the cuttlefish can create endless colors and patterns. Which means this Technicolor transformer has infinite ways to mesmerize and slay. White flowers, fragrant symbols of innocence. What could possibly be deadly about these bountiful blossoms? There she is, the crab spider. And she's waging a war of delicate destruction. While other spiders spin a web to hunt, disguise and surprise is this deadly predator's MO. She hides in plain sight, waiting, mobilizing. The ambush is laser precise. A quick grab with the legs. Then the spider bites, paralyzes, and sucks the butterfly dry. But not every flower is white. So when some crab spiders can't find a white flower to help them hunt, they adjust. It takes a few days, but a girl's gotta eat. Time to transform. Two cell layers play an important role. When the upper layer is clear, the spider appears white. But when she sees a yellow flower, she creates a yellow pigment in the upper layer. The lower layer, acting as a mirror, reflects light through the yellow pigment, making her appear yellow. Now hidden, this color-shifting transformer just has to sit and wait for her prey to come. Why weave a web when you can simply change your color? Animal transformers are a brave breed. Whether banding together or working solo, when survival is on the line, they bring the pain. In the wild war that is the ultimate game of Survivor, no one likes to get caught unprotected. Blink, and you might miss it. These warriors are equipped with an astounding array of hidden, lethal weapons. Like something out of a sci-fi movie, the mantis shrimp is so alien-looking that if you add some special effects, he turns into a robot of the future. And if you're a fish, he doesn't come in peace. He spends a lot of time buried in the sand, with only his eyes visible. Two alien-like gazers that produce the most advanced vision in the world. The shrimp can detect infrared, ultraviolet, and polarized light. This incredible eyesight acts as a deadly scope for this shrimp's lightning-fast weaponry. Transforming into a turbocharged bayonet, the shrimp fires out two dagger-like claws. Six razor-sharp spines line each killer claw, ensnaring the fish in a world of hurt. Amazingly, this shrimp anatomy isn't relying on any sort of catapult mechanism, but pure muscle. The mantis shrimp is small, but it is mighty, and it's always watching. In any war of survival, there are moments of peace. A time to regroup and spend time with who is important. The Cape Gannet is a family man type of bird. When it's time to settle down, he heads to the beautiful coastal islands of South Africa to find a mate and start a family. Cape Gannets mate for life. And this male takes his role as father and provider very seriously. Some might say, dead seriously. Taking flight, he's willing to do what he has to, what he needs to ensure his family's survival. Searching as far as 300 miles, he scans the ocean for the vital prey. He pinpoints the exact depth of a school of sardines beneath the water. While some seabirds gently swoop to the surface to grab a fish with their talons, that's not how the Cape Gannet rolls. No, when family is on the line, he goes all in. Diving at 60 miles per hour, he folds back his wings, transforming into a missile. But the gannet is not there just to feed himself. He dives again. And again. Storing the fish in his body to regurgitate to his chick. The hunt a success, he returns to the island. His stay is brief. His family will need to eat again. So again, he must provide. Transformers are fast, focused, and fierce. Every day, their lives are on the line. Because in the animal kingdom, the weak are meat, and the strong do eat. Colorbots, shapeshifters, sharpshooters. Transformers are lethal, but direct. Until now. These tricky animals use their morphing powers to fool both prey and predator. This remarkable eight-legged sea creature descends from above. only to transform on the sea floor. He's a mimic octopus, or what we like to call Octopus Prime. His deceptive abilities are legendary. With no bones, no spine, and no poison, the mimic octopus is an appetizing meal for small sharks and barracuda. So while many sea creatures use camo to ambush and hunt, Octopus Prime transforms to survive. A true mimic, he doesn't just morph to match his surroundings. He actually impersonates poisonous predators to scare away attackers. When Prime initiates his transformation, predators do what they can to avoid him. This eel is getting close. No problem. Initiate banded seacrite. 10 times more venomous than a rattlesnake. If a shark gets too close, initiate peacock soul. A poisonous flatfish thought to release a defensive secretion that has shark-repellent properties. By changing color and shape, he imitates the venomous barbs of a lionfish. And whatever he's mimicking here, it's enough to stop this attacking crab in his tracks. In all, it's known to replicate over 15 different species. If only predators look past the charades, they might find a meal. For now, the mimic thrives. In the blackest night, predators have the advantage. After all, one of nature's most deadly weapons is darkness. It's the place where few are safe. Here, during the day looks all right. But the black heron has the incredible ability to make this fish's world black as night. Native to Africa, the heron hunts small fish in shallow open waters. He's methodical and keeps his head down. With his jet black feathers and wingspan of over 3 feet, the heron transforms his entire body into a canopy. He's setting a trap. Fish are quickly lured to the cool darkness of his shady snare. What they can't see is about to kill them. With one strike, he catches his meal. They say it's always darkest before dawn. The black heron's prey never gets that far. This vole seemed to be having an okay day. Playing in the snow, minding his own business. What he doesn't know is that he's being watched. With amazingly advanced eyesight, this great gray owl has locked onto the vole from over a football field away. Sensing the danger, this vole tunnels through 2 feet of snow to take the owl's eyes out of the equation. Where he thinks he's safe, he's wrong. Because when you take the sense of sight away from this owl, it only transforms his hearing into a superpower. And now, he's hunting by ear. He picks up the vole's movements. When he takes off, he's a silent stealth bomber. Layers of soft feathers deaden the sound of his approach. To this vole, the owl is invisible until it's too late. an effective and stealthy hunter. The great gray owl's victims don't see him coming. These raging and heated animals might be some of the most frightening beasts on Earth. But for our ultimate ultra transformers, the sky's the limit. The power of flight. A truly awesome ability coveted by those stuck on Earth. But our next group of aeronautic transformers turn that lofty dream into reality. The Draco lizard is a lover, not a fighter. He likes to play it safe and keeps to the trees away from most predators. And if that doesn't work, he can always camouflage himself and hide. But that's not the transformation we've come to see. The Draco's on the lookout for a mate. Way over there. To get her attention, he makes himself look bigger and brighter by flapping his yellow dewlap. She seems interested, but still, she's far off in another tree, and it's a long way down. Love can make you do crazy things. Spreading his limbs, he flips open layers of skin membranes, transforming from a lowly lizard to a high-gliding dragon, able to soar 26 feet through the air. Straight to his girl. Perhaps the power of love really does lift him up where he belongs. The snake is known to be one of the animal kingdom's most frightening and efficient killers. But just imagine if snakes could fly. In the jungles of Southeast Asia, they can. This is the Chrysopelia snake, also known as the flying snake. An ambitious hunter, specialized rigid scales allow him to grip vertical surfaces. With almost Spider-Man powers, he climbs up and out to the tip of a branch, drops down into a J-shaped form before he takes to the air. Potentially able to soar distances nearly 800 feet, this snake's air transformation is gravity-defying. To achieve lift, the snake morphs its round body. By sucking in its abdomen, the snake is able to flatten its torso, doubling its width to make a somewhat concave surface. Then, forming an S shape, it undulates sideways as it flows through the air, creating whirls of wind that act as lift-generating wings. It all makes for an incredibly effective airstrike. As this unsuspecting gecko is about to discover. Morphing, flying, and surprise aerial attacks? This is what a badass looks like. This transformer is perhaps the most mysterious of them all. Found in waters around the world, scientists know surprisingly little about these aquatic beasts. The mobula ray. Often mistaken for their solitary cousin, the manta ray, these guys travel in packs. Migrating across vast oceans, they swim in formation, feeding on plankton and lunging through dense schools of fish. Until their fins become wings, and the mobula rays hit the air. Rising as high as 6.5 feet above the surface, these aquatic acrobats are kicking gravity's butt. The motivation behind this spectacular air show remains a mystery. They could be hunting or simply playing. But whatever the reason, this transformer has transcended the final frontier. Gravity-defying dragons, shape-shifting sea creatures, and dive-bombing birds. In nature's ultimate war of the wild, these transformers will continue to morph, mutate, and amaze. They must, because this is how they survive.